Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink I have in cartridge form by Private Reserve, Sonic Blue. And all the tests were done in this Kaweco Sport with a medium nib. And so here's a swabby of Sonic Blue compared with Waterman's Florida Blue and Diamine Presidential Blue. Here's Diamine Indigo and Diamine Prussian Blue. And in one of the tests I said it seems like a hardier version of Prussian Blue, but it really does have more of a kick to it. And it's slightly, just a hint more of purplishness to it, whereas this is more of a gray. So let's check out the chromatography. As you can see, there's this sort of gray here down at the bottom, like this bare little halo of lavender, and then up into sort of a jolly, almost cartoonish purple, and then into this very bright, vibrant blue. So, yeah. Check out the paper test. Top down in density, Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. 7 seconds to dry, which on this paper really isn't bad because it's hydrophobic, although it is a medium nib and it's a pretty middle of the range wetness medium. No bleed feather spread. Said echo's nearly non-existent. This is a paler blue than I would have liked, but it's not to the extent of Prussian Blue. It's got a little more kick to it than that. As you can see, what remains is much more of a gray color. It did dye the paper just a little bit, but there is a good bit there. If you had to, you could read that. That'd be alright. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter, where it took 6 seconds to dry. I feel like there's some decent shading in here. But I feel like partly why that is because it is a bit thin, it is a bit light. So, yeah. Good flow, nice shading. Minimal echo, no bleed feather spread. That's pretty readable. I mean, it's not the easiest to read, but what's there is pretty dark and didn't dye the paper too much. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where it took 6 seconds to dry, which on this paper is quite impressive. And where I laid it on really thick, I'm going to try and get this on camera, there's a red metallic halo sheen. So if you put this in a really wet nib, you would probably get a red halo sheen on this paper. Although I do feel like it became quite a bit light here. Well, maybe that's just me. Yeah, it seems to be getting just a little bit lighter, and I'm not loving that, but yeah, considering this is Tomoe River Paper and it loves to let ink just slide away, that's not too bad. If you had to recover something, you could. Granted, if you had a broader, wetter nib, it'd probably be an easier go of it. Next is 20-pound Copier Paper, where it dried almost instantly and you still kind of get bits of shading, but where that shading is or would be is also where you get sort of this fuzzy woolliness, where I mean, it's almost like feathering, but it's more like spread, because if you look at how thick the line got, you can see that it really spread. I mean, this looks more like a broad if this is a medium, so. But yeah. Water test could be worse. I mean, you do have that darker slate writing in the middle and then some feathery, explodey, purpley blueness. And that could be worse because this is pretty crappy paper. So maybe in a fine nib or an extra fine nib you wouldn't get any bleed. Next is Mead Notebook Paper, where I feel like it definitely got lighter. 2 seconds to dry. There's bleed and feather and spread, and yeah, This is starting to border on just lighter than I like, and yeah, water test could be better. And considering this is a medium nib and it's, you know, not a very dark ink, yeah, that's not great. Next is Moleskine paper, where I feel like it definitely took on a bit of a lavenderish hue, like kind of an undertone thing going on. But yeah. 5 seconds to dry, which is a little odd when you think about how long it took on the other papers. And there's some shading, but you also get some feathering. And there's a tiny bit of bleed, starts to come through in a few spots. And that water test is not great. It's explodey, it's pretty gone where it's gone, it feathered. It's not ideal, so yeah. So there you go for your consideration. Private Reserve Sonic Blue. It's a bit thinner than I would like, it's a bit lighter than I would have liked, but it's fairly well behaved on acceptable papers, and it's a decent enough blue, and it's got this quiet gray purple undertone thing going on. So for your consideration from the Triple N Network, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Bye.